The call came in on the radio about a foreigner groping some kid in a park. These incidences were getting more and more every day. People who immigrated to the country illegally and causing all kinds of mayhem. Burglaries have gone up, car theft, bank robberies, vandalism, arson, inflation, food prices, gas prices, the divorce rate, teenage pregnancies, and even prostitution. It's insane what hookers charge to rub baby powder on a guy's balls nowadays. The one group okay with this are a bunch of young left-wing liberals. Many of them so young they look as if they don't even have the balls to rub powder on. If you opposed what they supported, they labeled you a racist, a misogynist, a sexist, otherwise known as someone who reads Playboy magazines. Personally though, I don't have a single racist bone in my body. I had the numbers of many white people on speed dial, the names of many female sex workers saved, and I have constant communication with all my ex-wives. Nothing got my blood boiling faster than finding out one of these foreign feral freaks went after a kid. Of course, the liberals would have you think it's a part of their culture, like ignorance is a part of theirs. Personally, I think the real problem lies with these outsiders wearing their underwear too tight. I arrived at the park and saw one squad car on the sidewalk. An older woman waved her arms around like she was trying to summon the rain. A young girl leaned against the squad car playing on her phone, wearing a jacket and pants both made out of denim, likely bought at that African Falcon store. They had some really good jeans for sale. She didn't seem too bothered by what was going on around her. I parked my car close by and got out. Deputy Clark came around to meet me. "Detective, fancy seeing you here. What have you got?" "A slightly sore stomach from that chili dog I got from the sausage saloon." "What have you got for me?" "The same, one with extra spice, just the way you like it. Anything else you need, detective?" "Yeah, a word for a tropical paradise fruit, 6 across." "Coconut?" "That's 7 letters, and a coconut is not a fruit." We walked towards Deputy Michaels, who was taking the woman's statement. "What's with the woman and her kid?" "She claims a man staying at a nearby motel who happens to be from Afghanistan groped her son." "Where's the son?" "No idea. I only saw her and her daughter. The perp's been loaded into the car." "You checked out this motel the perp stayed at?" "The mother still hasn't told us which one. Deputy Michaels is still staking her statement." I couldn't really make out what the mother was saying. She was either talking too fast or actually performing a ritual to summon the rain. She stopped talking as soon as she saw me. At first glance, she looked so wired, I wondered if she didn't take her coffee too strong this morning. I took my badge out. "Detective Kaufman, Black Shield Division." "Henrietta Gruber, distraught mother." "I know this is going to be difficult, but could you please tell me everything starting from the beginning?" "Well, it was June 5th, 1980, when my mother suddenly went into labor after her water broke." "I'm sorry. I meant, could you tell me everything that happened here, starting from right before it happened?" "Yes, of course. This evil man from a motel who happens to be from Afghanistan groped my dear baby boy." A voice from the squad car chimed in. "I'm a girl and I wasn't groped." "Quiet, John. You don't know what you're saying." "My name is Joanne." "I said quiet, John." I gently tapped Deputy Michaels, looking at his pad on the arm. "Deputy, you get her full statement?" The deputy didn't respond. He continued to look at his pad, holding his pen stationary. "Deputy?" I nudged him again, then he lifted his head. "I don't want to go to school, Mom. Mrs. Johnson was mean to me." I didn't really understand what he was talking about, but I used more force when I nudged him again. "Deputy!" He finally came to. It took him a few seconds to realize where he was. He looked at Henrietta. "Oh, yeah, could I please have your name, ma'am?" "Deputy!" "Yes, sir." "Did you get a full statement from the victim and her mother?" "Not yet, sir. The mom said she needed a few minutes to gather her thoughts, so I waited patiently." "Did you get the victim's statement at least?" "Yes, sir. I can read it out for you." "Please do that." The deputy went a few pages back, frantically trying to find the first part. He stopped suddenly. "Here it is. Sex worker Happy Friday deal. We'll give special discount on rubbing a man's balls with baby powder between 5 and 6 in the afternoon. T's and C's apply. Up until when is this going on? The cutoff date hasn't been specified yet, sir. I might need to do further inquiries. Deputy Clark seemed somewhat perplexed. Was that the victim's statement? Oh no, it's a sponsored ad. Oh right. The deputy resumed paging through his pad up until he stopped again. Here it is. I was out in the park having a great romantic afternoon with my girlfriend, when this crazy lady stormed up out of nowhere and accused me of groping her son. I had no idea who she was, and there was no one else in the park beside myself, my girlfriend, and this woman. Something about that statement didn't match what I was told by Deputy Clark or what I heard on the scanner. Where's this guy's girlfriend? She's leaning against the car. So, he's dating the son who's really a girl. Affirmative, sir. I turned my attention back to Henrietta. Ma'am, is your daughter dating this man? What does who my daughter's dating have anything to do with this? My son was groped by this Afghanistanian. How did you establish the suspect is from Afghanistan? He spoke with a Chinese accent, that's how. I didn't know much about Afghanistanians or the country itself for that matter. I always thought it was somewhere near France or some other continent. Aside from that, I was nowhere near to understanding what happened here. It was like being back at square one. The other problem is, so far, I didn't even get to square two. I reckon maybe I should talk to the daughter/son. Try to get the other side of the story. While Henrietta seemed a bit too delirious for my liking, I decided to move to Joanne. Hi, I'm Detective Kaufman, Black Shield Division. I'm Joanne, the confused daughter. Your mom has been calling you her son. What's the story there? She's part of that crazy group who all think their children were born in the wrong bodies. A voice yelled out next to us. You were! I know for a fact. Joanne rolled her eyes and I turned my attention back to Henrietta. Could you please explain how that happened? I'm not sure, but when I gave birth he was a strong, healthy baby boy. I even remembered when he dirtied his diaper, I told George to go back into the hospital and change it and... Henrietta fell silent as her expression went from upset to looking like someone or something walked over her grave. That blithering idiot, she said. I really wasn't sure what she was getting at, but right now, there were a lot of things that weren't adding together. I went back to Joanne. Is she always like this? Only every time we go out. That story she just told is a bunch of crap. Besides, my grandma told me when the stork dropped off my mom, it was later arrested for drug smuggling. I see. Is the person in the police car your boyfriend? Yeah, we were making out next to that tree and he tried to cop a feel. Cop a feel? It's this magic trick he does to make a girl's underwear disappear with a snap of his fingers. Did it work? I thought it did, but then the underwear that appeared in his hands weren't mine. Did he try to grope you at any point? Sure. Isn't that what guys would normally do when making out? Usually it is, but it's better not to allow him to. You don't know what else his hands may have groped, and he probably never washed them before trying it with you. Really? Well, he did spend a lot of time with my best friend once. My point exactly. I turned and called for Deputy Michaels. Get the perp out of the car. It's time we had a word. He went over and opened up the back door. Okay, you. The detective wants a word. How many letters and for what? It's for a tropical paradise fruit and it's 6 across. That's easy, pineapple. That's 8 letters. Then I don't know what else to say. Just get out here. The perp finally got out and faced me, or at least I think he did. His skin tone was so dark I couldn't tell if I was looking at the back of his head or his face. There appeared to be something that looked like a set of eyes. I only realized what part of his head I was looking at when I also saw what looked like teeth. It reminded me of that cat in Alice in Wonderland. It scared the crap out of me as a kid. So, I said, you're the perpetrator. No, sir, I'm the victim. That's what all perpetrators say. Well, I ain't no perp. Do you swear? Yes, sir. You shouldn't. It's not nice. He fell silent for a moment, waddling back and forth. He could have been nervous, but I couldn't tell for sure. Not being able to make out another person's expression in the daylight took some getting used to. Detective Lloyd Kaufman, Black Shield Division. David Harrison, assault victim, sort of. Is this young woman here your girlfriend? Yes, sir. Been going out for a while now. Aren't you a little too black for her? Is that supposed to be racist? It's more of a straightforward question, really. Oh, well, I'm of the opinion, Detective, that love knows no color. Try telling that to the liberals. Do you even know how many single mothers are there in your community whose husbands left them for a white girl? Seriously, Detective, it ain't easy being married to a sister. If you were, you'd understand. No thanks. Having grown up with one in the same house was bad enough to make me realize that it's better to marry outside the family. Only a few minutes of conversation with him and already something was off, but I couldn't quite see it. I called for Deputy Clark. Check on the database if this guy has any prior records. The deputy acknowledged and went over to the squad car. I turned my attention back to David. So, tell me what happened with you and that woman's son. Honestly, her son was nowhere near and I didn't grope him. I never even met the dude. She's saying that this girl over here is her son. Man, she's crazy. We were just here having a romantic moment at this here park when her crazy mom stormed on us screaming like a tsunami siren. Were you making out? Oh yeah. Did you feel her up? You bet, but only to demonstrate a magic trick which was passed down through my family's generation. What trick is that? It's one that makes a woman's underwear disappear with only a flick of my wrist. Is that right? It sure is. I've gotten so good at it my homies be calling me David Copperfield. Nice. I even tried it on my girl's best friend a few times. It never fails. The deputy returned and handed me the vinyl of a record. This is one he brought out back in 2020 called I Smashed Your Daughter. And this is one, he handed me a second record, he brought out in 2022 and it's called I Smashed Your Daughter's Sister. Third one is still in post-production. While I was looking at the records, which only gave me the impression that he only sang or rapped about smashing daughters and sisters, I could hear him and Joanne beginning to argue. Apparently, David forgot his girlfriend was standing right next to him. I can't believe you fooled around on me with Tanya. Babe, I swear it meant nothing to me. All 10 times? Yeah. I was trying out a white chick with a different hair color just to make comparisons. You had your hands all over Tanya 10 times and then you had them on me this morning. Yeah, so my body is now covered in 10 layers of Tanya. Well, that only means I got the best of both worlds standing right here. I handed the records back to Deputy Clark when Deputy Michaels came up. Detective, yeah, there's someone from your department who wants to talk to you. I looked over and saw a familiar face. It was Pierre Francois from the French office. I hadn't seen him in 3 hours. I walked up to meet him halfway. He extended his hand and me mine. Pierre, what brings you here? My car. I bought it 3 years ago. An exceptional upgrade from the one I had before. Good to hear. How are the wife and kids? The wife is remarried to her high school lesbian crush, and the kids are now complaining about their lives going nowhere and not willing to admit it is all their own fault. Well, happy to know things are going well. Aside from that, I have a warrant for the arrest of that young man over there. I looked behind me towards David, being watched over by Deputy Clark. From this distance, it was even harder to tell if he was looking at us or at the deputy. What has he done? We have reason to suspect, based purely on evidence presented to us by an acquaintance of his along with the person's own testimony, that he might be the Rice Krispie Groper. I looked at Pierre with a look of shock and confusion, mostly confusion. After a few seconds of suddenly being riddled with anxiety, I finally found it in me to speak. Huh? I actually meant to say cereal, but I can't because it will trigger the woke division. Oh, hasn't our offices been looking for him for quite some time? We have recently been keeping him under surveillance, after someone called and said he recognized him in a sketch composite submitted to the media. Someone was actually able to describe him. The person has a very keen eye for detail. Very well then, he's all yours. Pierre nodded, then turned to signal his team, who came up running to apprehend the suspect. A whole SWAT team with M16 rifles in hand. Once they were close, one of them threw out a flashbang. Me and Pierre quickly covered our eyes and ears, but the two deputies, Henrietta, Joanne, and some of the SWAT members were not so lucky. Most were seen covering their ears, while others couldn't see properly. The one SWAT member, who seemed unaffected, ran out with David on his shoulders. I got him, he yelled as he ran past. Pierre looked back at me and smiled. It was great to see you again, my friend. Likewise, we should do this again sometime. We might be able to sooner than you think. What does that mean? The homicide department might call on both of us pretty soon. There have been suspicious activities in the suburban areas recently. What kind? The kinds that make people disappear and likely suggest the involvement of a possible Rice Krispie unaliver. I stood confused for a second. You know, Pierre started, we can't say serial killer, or the woke department will have a baby. That's more inclined to happen with the transgender department, but it's more or less something similar. I'll be waiting for that call. So will I, until we meet again, Detective. I bid farewell to Pierre and thought about what he said. I didn't know what was worse, one of these serial gropers going after kids or these serial killers going after everyone. I also didn't know which department between the wokes and the transgenders had the biggest obsession with words. What still bothered me more than all of that was the price I have to pay now to have my balls baby powdered. Nothing could possibly be sadder than that. At least I can still enjoy an extra spicy hot chili dog that burns the mouth, goes down the throat like hot molten lava, setting my stomach on fire. Then later in the bathroom on the toilet I get to feel like a rocket getting launched. Might as well appreciate the little things while I'm able.